Now, life cycle costing. Sir, what is life cycle costing? See, before you read theory or before I go with the concepts of CA final and understand life cycle costing, let me explain in a layman's language that life cycle costing is something, or life cycle costing is a concept which is applicable to those products whose life is predetermined. Say for the best example for that is your mobile phones. So whenever a company launches a mobile phone, if you observe, the pricing of mobile phones in the initial phase of launch are way higher. The moment the time it goes on, the time after 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, the pricing of that cell phones or the pricing of those electronic gadgets keep on reducing, reducing, and reducing, right? The reason behind that is that company knows what is the life of this product. When there is a life of the product, say for example, a company launches a product X, or I would say iPhone X. Apple launched the iPhone X. So Apple already knew that next year I have to launch one more model or two more models. After that, next year I have to launch 11, 11 Pro, right? So that is how the iPhones have been launched. Again, after that 11, 11 Pro, I have to launch one more product. So every year I have to launch two cell phones or three cell phones new. Where that is the strategy of iPhones, right? So when it comes to the life of the product or the life of iPhone X, what we are selling today or what we are launching today, it might be 2 years or 3 years depending on the next life or depending on the next products that are introduced in the market. So considering that fact, all the cost, all my analysis, all my important research, important materials, labors, everything that I've done on that iPhone X should be made sure that those expenses are absorbed or those expenses are recovered by the sale of iPhone X during its life, right? So when it comes to your accounting perspective, if I say IPCC or foundation, what you learned is that plant and machinery are depreciated for 5 years depending on 15%, vehicles are depreciated on the basis of their life, furniture are depreciated on the basis of life. But see, when I'm launching some product, when I am doing a research analysis on some product, I cannot say that I will depreciate it for 10 years or 15 years. I have to decide that on the basis of life of my product, right? So today, if you understand or if you make sure that initially before iPhone X there was no question of Face ID in iPhones, we had fingerprints, right? So this is what the technology was, that in there was a small button at the back end or at the down end, and then there was a fingerprint scanner to unlock your phones, right? Now that has been removed from iPhones and they have switched to Face IDs. So all those expense research and analysis what they have done to have this Face IDs, they might be knowing that this Face ID would be for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years down the line. Then again we have to introduce something new. So then they will accordingly make sure that this Face ID expense what I am doing or research analysis what we are doing is been recovered till that life of that Face ID, right? Few phones like Vivo and all those companies, what they have done is they have gone for in fingerprint scan sensors. That is, your fingerprint sensors are introduced in your display itself, right? So now you do not have a different fingerprint scanner. Originally, when it started fingerprint scanners, we had fingerprint scanner at the back of some phones, right? So the technology changed. Technology came to that scanners or fingerprint sensors in your screen now. So those research and analysis what they have done, that technology might be for year, 2 year, 3 year, depending on what the life that the company has decided. So after that there is something new what they have to find out. After that there is something new that they have to do the research. So basically, if we understand there is a 3 years life of this uh, in-screen fingerprint sensor, then I have to make sure that this research analysis cost is been absorbed for 3 years. It's been absorbed or recovered in 3 years. In IPCC, there was a term, sir, absorption kya hai? Now, what you are discussing, absorbed in 3 years. So, as this being your first chapter, strategic cost management, absorption is something what you have learned in your IPCC, that when we produce one unit, the fixed cost or variable overhead costs are being absorbed on the basis of your, are being recovered on the basis of your estimates or budgets. Like I have a fixed overhead of 1 lakh per month, and that means, and I decide that 1 lakh units will be produced per month. That means I am making sure that my fixed cost has been recovering by 1 per unit. I am incurring a cost of 1 lakh, production is of 1 lakh units, so every 1 lakh units, every cost of 1 lakh, so per unit I'll be able to recover a fixed overhead of 1 per unit. So that is the IPCC concept what I have been discussing. Coming to life cycle again, so that is how this chapter has been introduced in CA final is product life cycle costing. You do a costing of the product for its lifetime, right? In IPCC, what you've learned: marginal costing, absorption costing, material, labor, overheads. You do there is product costing per unit, whether per unit is profitable or not, whether my batch is profitable or not. You did your batch costing questions. You started with material chapters, whether my raw material, reorder level, stock level, whether my this EOQ, what you learned over there. Then you went for labors, whether labor is per hour profitable, bonus is profitable, how the bonus should be given, Halsey plan, Rohan plan, and all those stuff that you learned. Then you switch to overheads. Then you switch to absorption costing chapters, marginal costing chapter, where you analyze whether this product is fetching profits or not, per unit profit kitna aa raha hai. Then you prepared budgets in your IPCC, which level of production or which level of units sold will be the profitable budget for the company. So then you in IPCC you had variable budgets, flexible budgets, fixed budgets, that if company plans for 8,000 unit, how will be the profit? If company budgets for 9,000 units, how will be the profit? So accordingly variable cost will change, sales will change, material cost will change, labor will change, overheads, fixed overhead will remain same, right? So all those things what you learned in your IPCC were on the basis of concepts from your individual products, cost, individual product profit, whether my this product is profitable or not. But when it comes to life cycle costing in CA final, it comes to the life of the product. So I am here calculating cost, I am here calculating profits, I am here calculating our margins on the basis of life of the product. So for me, per unit is doing profit of rupees 5 or 6 is not important over here. For me, how the product is doing in its life is more important. So what company does that if a phone is launched today and its life is for 2 years, I have to make sure that all the cost as well as the expected margin what we are supposed to earn are recovered within these 2 years. So company will plan accordingly that how the life cycle costing or how the costing is to be done for the life of the product or the pricing of the product, so that everything has been recovered in 2 years. And after the recovery has been done, after the expectations are achieved, after the budgets are being implemented, what we do is we introduce new products, and accordingly that product gets out of the market. And that is how it happens in every industry. You say for electronic industries, you take for televisions, refrigerators, washing machines, mobile phones, everything. Mobile phone is something which is frequently changing because it is a highly demanded electronic products. So air conditioners, televisions, first television used to be LCDs, now they are LEDs. In LEDs also there are various small pixel LEDs, right? Washing machines, you have different kind of washing machines, automatic, semi-automatic, open up, upload door and front door and all those, etc, etc, etc. So these technologies, when they are changing, the product life is decreasing, or the product life is been decided by the company before, and company knows that after 2 years or 3 years I have to make sure that this product has been thrown, or this product is disposed, or this product is out of the market. So I have to make sure all the research cost, all the analysis cost, all the operational cost of this product are being recovered by the company. And that is why what company does is life cycle costing. That is the reason why this chapter was introduced of life cycle costing. So life cycle costing aims on cost ascertainment of a product or a project, etc., over its projected life. So the word important word is its projected life. We decides on its projected life. It is system that tracks and accumulates the actual cost and revenues attributed to a cost object from the inception to its abandonment. From the inception, the moment it starts, to the time of its inception, from the time of inception to its disposal time, or to that time it has been considered. Life cycle costing provides an insight useful for understanding and managing cost over the life cycle of the product, right? So again, it decides over the life cycle of the product. In particular, it helps to evaluate the viability of the product, decides on pricing of the product at different stages of product life, and often helps to estimate the important often helps to estimate the value of product to its users. When used in conjunction with target costing, life cycle costing becomes a potent tool for cost management. See, target costing करते वक्त, when you're applying the concept of target costing, life cycle costing plays a very important role, because you can target your cost, or you can target your selling price, or you can target your margins only when you come to know the life of the product. When you come to know the life of the product, at that moment you can decide this, that how much margin should be earned, how many units will be sold. So that is the reason why I said that these 9 topics what we have been doing have some or the other interconnections, and so those 4 chapters have been accumulated in one single chapter, right? So that is the reason why we have over here, in case of our target costing or in case of our strategic cost management techniques, right? Moving on further, for the same chapter, features of product life cycle costing, what we have. So these are the features, benefits we have of product life cycle costing. So what are the features? The product life cycle involves tracing of cost and revenue of each product over several calendar periods. Understand, this is very important. Tracing cost and revenue of each product over several calendar periods. This is the important terms what I am marking. So these are the terms which will be helpful for you while you are writing exams in questions. Product life cycle costing traces research and design, development, etc. cost incurred on individual product over their entire life cycle. Traces research and development, etc. over their entire life cycle, so that the total magnitude of this cost of individual product can be reported and compared with product revenue generated in later periods. See, research and development happens at very initial period. When the product is not launched, you start your research and analysis, and when the product gets launched, you come to know how they have performed, and basically to make sure that this research and your cost or design development cost, if you compare that is incurred over the life cycle, you will be able to achieve, or you will be able to compare with your revenues generated, right? So this is why this life cycle costing helps. So there are plenty of research, plenty of products, plenty of designing what the company is doing, but I am not considering the designing cost of the company. I am considering designing cost of this product, to calculate life cycle of this product, to calculate revenues of the product, to do target costing of this product. Life cycle costing therefore ensures that cost for individual product can be reported and compared to product revenues in the later period. Hence, costs are made more visible. Important term is costs are made more visible. See, now this feature of product life cycle costing, what we have discussed, right? It has 3 points. Number 1 is cost and revenue of each product can be calculated or can be considered for several calendar periods. Number 2 is it helps easy in comparison of revenues with your research, development, designing initial cost. And number 3 is costs are made more visible by understanding their analysis or by understanding the nature of the cost depending on the product. Now this feature, what I have discussed, these 3 points, before I move to benefits, see, there is one question in our theory questions. There is one question: what do you mean by product life cycle? Emphasis paid. What do you understand by product? What are the benefits of product life cycle? Right? So whenever you read these questions, question 4 discusses about what are the benefits, like what are the features, what are the understanding of product life cycle. So whenever you are reading these questions, in this question you can write down the page number, what theory questions answers we have, right? Cultivate this habit for each and every chapter. Whenever you are reading these questions, all the answers are given at the up, right? See, if you understand, there is 75 pages theory in this chapter. 4 chapters, 75 pages theory, right? So when you understand 75 pages theory for 4 chapters, it has more than around almost 18 to 19 pages theory per chapter, right, of institute. So when it comes to 18 to 9 chapters, once you do this chapter, once you finish this chapter, you will not be able to understand, or you will not be able to compare or you will not be able to analyze. So that is the reason where the moment we do one topic, cultivate a habit of writing down page numbers in front of this. And when you go to that page number, see, benefit of life cycle costing is question number 4. So whenever you read benefit of life cycle costing, when it comes to here, cultivate a writing habit, question number 4, page number our 75 of our material. So this will help you. The moment you are referring theory anytime benefits, it will be able to recollect that okay, this is connected with my question number 4. Right? So that is how this is a technique to do fast. This is a technique to make sure that your understanding or your part of the questions become easy. Now features, what we have discussed, we have not given question of features in our theory questions, but this can be asked, right? So it is not necessary that 21 questions what we have given short note, those can only be come in your exams. What I said is those are something which are more repeatedly asked in exams. It means there are few questions which are not repeatedly asked, but still they have been asked, right? So what are the benefits? Again, in benefits we can take the product lifecycle costing results in earlier actions to generate revenue or lower cost than otherwise might be considered. So you are aware before itself that whether my generation of revenue or my cost should be how, because I know that all the expenses I have done, it is only for mere 2 years. After 2 years there is no benefit of this research, design, analysis, cost and anything. So it helps. There are number of factors that need to be managed in order to maximize return of the product. So this helps in earlier actions. Basically product life cycle helps in taking earlier actions. You can easily take your actions early. It helps in better decision. Should follow a more accurate and realistic assessment of revenues. It helps in taking better decisions. It helps you because you already know initial phase itself. Then product life cycle thinking can promote long-term rewarding in contrast to short-term profitability rewarding. So it focuses on more of long-term rewarding rather than short-term profits or short-term analysis. And it provides overall framework for considering total incremental cost over the entire. It focuses on total incremental cost over the entire lifespan of the product, which in turn facilitates analysis of parts of the whole where cost effective may be improved. So these are the 4 benefits what you need to understand. These are the 4 important words that you need to understand, and accordingly you can prepare your notes or you can make sure that these things are remembered. Now important part in the product life cycle costing is phase of product life cycle costing. This phase is one of those very important parts. This is something which they have repeatedly asked, and this is something which you need to understand. So basically there are 4 phases in product life cycle. I'll explain every phase individually. One is introductory phase, second is growth phase, third is maturity phase, and fourth is the life, that is decline phase, that is the life end phase of a product. So very important 4 terms is introduction, growth, maturity, decline. Again I am marking it with the red pens or with the red markers. You also cultivate a habit of marking with different pens or different markers, so you can easily be able to find out what are the more important terms, what are the terms which where you need to focus more. So this will help you basically when you are revising. Now what are these 4 terms? Let us understand these 4 terms or 4 phases, because this is one of those very important thing which you need to understand in life cycle costing. Once you know this, you will be able to understand very well about its life or about the product practical questions, because this is something which is again practically implemented. See, every product has an introduction phase, right? Every product has a growth phase, every product has maturity phase and a decline phase. What is introduction phase? So what I have done is this introduction phase I have distributed into 5 points, that is sales, price, ratio, competition and profits, right? So when it comes to the first phase of introduction phase, what happens that in the initial phase, introduction phase, the sales are very low. The sales are low in the introduction phase because I have merely introduced. Before I discuss each and every particulars, let me give you a small brief of these 4 phases. Every product is been introduced first. That is the first phase of introduction. Then once the introduction is been done, this product gets awareness. Customer gets awareness about the product. Customer being marketed in the product has been marketed to the customers. Advertisements expenses are done, and accordingly promotions are done. So then once the introduction phase, the next phase comes is a growth phase. Your product starts getting a growth in the market. Your product starts getting the demand in the market. Your product starts getting higher sales. Your product starts getting, or your product starts making competition with the other products. Then what it comes to the maturity phase. What is the maturity phases? The phase where the other competitors or the product competitors have introduced in the market, or that means there is a competition products that have introduced, and because of that, now I know that as there is a phase where the competition is introduced or the new technologies or new products have been introduced, my product cannot have a growth now. So that is a peak level where I am standing. Now further I cannot go beyond this. So that is a level where I go to the maturity phase, right? That is our fourth phase of maturity. This is something where you cannot go beyond that. Then you come with the decline phase, the last phase where decline is now your product is being absoluted or outdated from the market, and gradually it keeps on falling down. So your sales keeps on falling down, profits goes on falling down for that product, and then you are out of the market or you are absolute from the market. So these are the four phases. I can explain you one more with an example is iPhone X. The same example I continue. So iPhone X, when it was introduced, it has an introduction phase. Company starts doing a lot of branding, a lot of promotions, a lot of discounts, a lot of sales schemes, a lot of advertisement for that product. So for 1 year, the introduction, then company switch to the growth phase. After that growth phase, company goes to the maturity phase when the new products, that is iPhone XR or iPhone 11, 11 Pros are introduced. So the moment you go to the introduction of the new products, that means their old product goes to the maturity phase. Now when it comes to the customers, customer might buy the iPhone 11 or 11 Pro or XR because these are the new products. At that maturity phase of my product iPhone X, understand, at the phase of maturity when it comes to iPhone X, the iPhone 11, 11 Pro or XR, whatever be introduced in the market, their marketing, their introduction, their promotion, their awareness to the customer is way higher. So at the maturity phase, I cannot do much marketing of my product because I know that after this stage, I am not able to fetch more. After this phase, the company will not fetch more. And so then from that phase, it starts declining. 6 months, 8 months, year, 2 year. After that, this product gets outdated. And again, in the meanwhile, a next product has been introduced and the previous product gets decline. So these are the four important phases. In the introduction phase, if you understand, the sales are low, right? The growth, there is a rise in sales level as increasing rate. There is increasing rate growth. The growth is going higher and higher and higher. Maturity phase, rise in sales level but at decreasing rates. Sir, the maturity phase, how can be at decreasing rates? Because in growth, the rise is way higher. At maturity, the sales is rising, no doubt. The sales is increasing, but not at that pace. The pace we have achieved in growth. And then in decline phase, sales level is at peak and then it keeps on decreasing. When it comes to price, high in the initial stage, then returns to high level price except in certain cases. Prices fall in the fourth, that is maturity phase, and in decline phase, prices keeps on reducing. That is the example you see when it comes to product iPhone X. Again I am discussing, it starts from 1 lakh, right? So as and how it's in the growth phase, it was for 1 lakh for few days, few months, for few period. Then again at point of time it starts reducing. When it comes to maturity phase, the price starts a bit reducing. Then at the time of decline, price is reducing, and it's absolute. Every cell phone, every electronics, whatever you see, the price at the initial phase is very high. Why it is high? Because initial cost, promotion cost, expense costs are very high. Right? So there are basically two pricing strategies also. I am discussing this point just for understanding. Otherwise, in pricing decision chapter, we'll discuss this. In market, when you introduce a product, there are two pricing decisions you can take. One is penetration pricing, one is skimming pricing. Penetration pricing is something where you need to penetrate in the market. There are a lot of competition, but I want to penetrate in the market, right? There is skimming pricing, is the pricing which is high at the initial phase. So there is awareness like luxury. The term what we use when it comes to high pricing is luxury, right? So when it comes to penetrate, you are entering the market with a lower price to make sure that competitions is been achieved and your product starts promoting more and more and sales is increased. When it comes to skimming price, you start with higher price in the beginning, right? That phase of higher pricing is the introduction phase, and then gradually your price keeps on falling, decline phase goes out. Then ratio of promotion of expenses, but obviously in the introduction phase it is the highest. So the term, see, if you understand each and every term over here, this is initial stage, sales is low over here, right? When it comes to price, it is high. When it comes to cost, it is the highest, right? Highest cost I will do in promotion. Then the cost will a bit reduce. The total expense remain the same while ratio is decreased due to increase in sales. So your growth rate, the sales is increasing. Then it comes to this maturity phase. We reach to a maturity phase. So now our promotion expense will decrease, and accordingly when it comes to decline phase, reduced sales promotion. Your sales promotion will keep on reducing. Competition, initial phase, introduction phase, it is negligible because entering a new product. Then entry in a large number of competitors. When in the growth phase, so competition starts entering. Then we have fierce competition. Fierce means aggressive competition. The product are aggressively competing with each other. Because of the reason is, see, as I said that in maturity phase, after that maturity phase, my product itself, I introduce a competition to my product itself, or there are various companies which introduce, because see, whenever you're introducing a new product, some other companies, to understand those product, its features, its benefits, and its advantages or disadvantages or its laybacks to the customers, it takes time for the competing companies or competing products. So in the meanwhile, companies understand this. In the meanwhile, company analysis, company does, your product goes to the growth phase, right? But when it comes to the maturity phase, when this maturity phase comes, when there is aggressive competition in the market, as there is aggressive competition in the market, customers have various options. Customers have unlimited, or you can say customers have various options for the product, and that is the reason why your market size or your market share keeps falling, and then you go in the decline phase, right? So there are fears, that is aggressive competition, and then competition starts disappearing at the decline phase because it is gone. Profits, initially it is nil. Sir, why the profits are nil? Because you have high initial cost. There are high initial cost of marketing, promotions, research, analysis, and all those stuff. Then it is profits are increasing at a rapid pace because your sales is also increasing. Maturity phase, profits are normal, and decline phase, the profits keep on decline, right? So this is very important. As I said, यहाँ पे हमने एक मच्छर मारा था. See, if you understand this, there was a small understanding over a retention of high level prices except in certain cases. So that is what, in a growth phase, the firm will maintain the prices at a high level in order to realize maximum profits. Price reduction will not be undertaken unless low prices will lead to a market. But obviously, if my customer is not willing to pay, I have to make sure that low pricing is done. But if my customer is willing to pay and I am able to achieve the profits, or I am able to achieve the units targets what I have done, then I will not reduce my price in the growth phase. Because growth phase is one phase where I get the profits very high, right? So when I am introducing a product and the pricing of that product, customers are happy with the pricing, I will not reduce those pricing, because my reduction in pricing at the growth phase will reduce my profits, expected profits. See, when it comes to two products, I'll explain practical example I'll give you. There is one cell phone industry what we are discussing in this chapter, so I'll continue with that system so it becomes easy for you to recollect and understand. There is a series of Samsung Galaxy Note, right? And there is a series of OnePlus. OnePlus phones are introduced at a nominal pricing. The pricing of this product doesn't fall way high, but the pricing of Samsung Galaxy Note is way high when it is introduced, and the frequency of falling is very high again. So initially when the Galaxy Note is introduced, it is introduced at a high price, But then they come to understand that the pricing the product or this customer's demand, or considering the purchase capacity of the customers, my product needs to be pricing needs to be reduced, and so the pricing keeps on reducing at every phase, every intervals. But when it comes to OnePlus, the phones, if you observe, the introduction price is maintained up to certain point of time. The reduction in price of OnePlus is comparatively low than the Samsung. So you may make an observation, or you do an analysis on this part. You will come to know the reason behind that is this Machar itself. That in the growth stage, the company will maintain the price at high level in order to realize profit. But they might do price reduction considering how the market is, how the customers are reacting, to lead the market or to achieve that sales. So these are the four important products. Use of product life cycle: it is used for planning tool, you can plan accordingly. It is used for control tool, and it is used for forecasting tool, right? So these are the ways how your product life cycle can be used, and the characteristics they have already been mentioned. Stages: various stages of product life. First stage is market research, then we have specification on the basis of research, then we decide the designs, then we design the prototype manufacture, then we do the development, tooling, manufacturing of the product, selling, distribution, product support, and diminishing or replacement. So these are the various phases or stage that you go to. So first you do with market research, then you do with specification, how we can specify or how the product can be achieved. Then you go with the designing on the basis of specification once the research is done. So when you do research, you come to know what the customers are expecting, what is the customer demanding, what are their expectations, how they are expecting a product. Then you start calculating their specifications. Those specifications you try to implement by your designing. Prototype manufacture: so prototype is a drawing, dummy drawings. What you can see from the drawings, it will be possible to manufacture smaller number of products. This prototype, so basically if I am into mobile industry, I will have a first dummy pieces of phones, prototypes of phones, to understand how it will be, how it is looking, how it is able to handle, how it is functioning. Then once that prototype is prepared, we go to the development phase of those prototype. No, we should change the design, we should do this, how this should be implemented, this should be the color, this should be the pattern. Once that is done, then we do tooling. That is known as tooling. Is what? Tooling is something where if calculations and profitable decisions are made, how it will be helpful to the company. Then you start manufacturing. Once manufacturing is done, then you will start doing selling, distribution, and then product support. Once your product starts being fetched to the customers, once your product reaches to the customer, once your product is being consumed by the customers, you give product support. That is kind of warranty or guarantee kind of services what you give. And then there is replacements, because there is high competition in the market. So at the decline phase, you start doing replacements. So these are the important theories for product life cycle costing, as well as these are the theory questions what we have in life cycle costing. So basically question number 2, question number 3, question number 4. Question number 2 being very important, because it has been asked a lot of time, a lot of this question has been asked. Its phases, 4 phases what you need to understand. And one more thing what you can understand is that this phases, life cycle phases, how it is that a product life cycle phase, when it comes to this chapter, it is strategic cost management, right? In that again I have been doing is life cycle costing, right? So this is my first heading that I have started with, right? Life cycle costing, when there is a question of phase, or when there is the question of different stage, what are the phases of a product, this is one of those chart which will be helpful to you. Right? So this is something where it is known as introduction phase. This is something time with the past in time, and this is your something connection with sales or profits. So this is something the introduction phase. Your product starts with 0, it has been introduced. This is something which you're going with the growth phase, right? Sales are high, profits are high, increasing trend. This is something where you're going with the maturity phase. With the passage of time, your sales is comes to the maturity level, and this is something which is known as decline phase. So if I recollect all those points what we have discussed, introduction phase, costs are very high, sales are low, profits are almost nil, marketing promotion expenses are high. When it comes to growth phase, sales is increasing at a higher rate, rate. And it comes to maturity, sales are at a maturity level, and then when it comes to decline phase, it keeps on reducing, reducing, and reducing. So this is a graph for a product life cycle which is very useful, and this will be something which in exam you can draw if there is a question of theory for a life cycle costing deciding its phase, that we have already discussed. Right, now coming to questions, practical questions. So let us deal with one of those practical question of life cycle costing. Right, so let us start with this. Rishi Software Company, we are starting with a practical question of life cycle costing. Right,